You are welcome to today's episode of Formula for Everyday with the Formula Law.
Hi, welcome to Formula for Everyday podcast. I am your host, Lawrence Nkwacha, the Formula Law. So today we'll be looking at, we'll continue to look at this book we started a while back, which is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And we looked at habit 1 the last time, which is be proactive. Now today we're going to be looking at habit 2. As I've said in previous episodes, this book is actually a very loaded book, so we cannot exhaust the entire chapter 2 today. So we'll just see how far we can go with the chapter 2 today, and on our next episode we'll continue with the remaining part of chapter 2. Alright, so chapter 2 is a very amazing chapter. As a matter of fact, while reading the book, chapter 2 was one part of the entire book that stuck very closely with me, and the theme of chapter 2 is begin with the end in mind. So this quote from Oliver Wendell Holmes, it's what started the chapter. He said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." So whatever it is you are seeking in life, you should know that it is within you. So whatever your future has been, whatever your past has been, what is within you is greater than each of those factors. Then if the ladder is not leaning on the right wall, every step we take only gets us to the wrong place faster. So I love this chapter because it tends to help you to reflect more on your actual purpose, on the essence of why you are alive, why you are living, why you are actually doing everything you are doing. I mean, it helps you to reflect on your why. Why exactly do you want to achieve the dreams you already have set aside for yourself? Okay, so he said, beginning with the end in mind is based on the principle that all things are created twice. There is a mental or first creation and a physical or second creation to all things. So he recommended that we follow the capitals rule, and the capitals rule states that you measure twice and you cut once. So if you don't do the first creation, then it will be very difficult, or whatever your second creation will turn out to be will just be by by default. So your first creation must be intentional. You must imagine whatever it is you want to achieve, whatever goal you have. That's why it is very necessary for every single person to have a vision, have a dream, have a mental picture of exactly where you want to attain, what you want to do. Then you can begin to break it down into plans and goals as you move on. But the mental picture is priceless. You need to have a dream, you need to have a goal of exactly what you want to do. So he started with some very creepy stuff, and it was so creepy, but it made a lot of sense as I continued to read on. So I'll just go through exactly what he said. He said, visualize yourself as dead, with you looking inside your own casket. As a matter of fact, the way he started the description of this particular paragraph was very scary. He mean, like, just imagine that you step into a church and there are people, what a funeral mass or perhaps a funeral service looks like. There are people in black just seated around the pews. Then you walk straight to the front, very close to the altar, and there's a casket, and you look into it and you see yourself in it. Okay, like that's a very creepy bad dream. But the cool thing about this chapter is that it helps you to reflect. So he said, imagine yourself as dead in a casket. Then 4 speakers from your family, your work, your church, and your close friend come out. So what you have to do is to write out what you would love them to say about you. What exactly will you love them to say about you? How will you want to affect your family members? And don't forget that it's always families first. Your family is what you have left, okay? Your family. So no matter your level of success, always try to prioritize your family. I was listening to an interview that was conducted for Cristiano Ronaldo yesterday, and he was just very particular about the family. The family, fans may hail you today and boo you tomorrow. Friends may betray you, but your family is the closest thing to the God you have on earth. So always treat your family with extreme care and also with very high level of priority. Then he spoke. How exactly do you want someone from your family to talk about you? How do you want somebody from your work? How do you want somebody from your church to talk about you? And how do you want a close friend to talk about you? So these are very important frames of reference that we must consider as we live our daily lives.
You are still listening to Formula for Every Day with the Formula Law. Stay tuned.
So each behavior you portray can be examined in context of what really matters the most to you. So we don't just act by default. It's just we act by programming. It's what matters to us that actually shapes our behaviors and the way we respond to things. So both our actions, our inactions, and our reactions are triggered by what matters the most to us. Okay, so moving on, he said being busy is different from being effective. So you could be a very busy person without necessarily doing any job. Then manage your life each day to do what matters the most to you. So what matters the most to you? You could pause now and ask yourself a question like, what is my most important priority? What matters the most to me? What's most important to me? So all things are created twice. Begin with the end in mind is based on the principle that all things are created twice. So everything you want to do or achieve must first start in your mind. Keep the end of everything you want to become as you act on a daily basis. So whatever it is you want to become, always keep it in your mind as you act on a daily basis. As you continue to carry out your daily activities, as you continue to carry out your daily routine, always keep that goal. You know, the most interesting thing is if you consider how much baby steps can contribute to the grand scheme of things, then perhaps most of us would have taken some very minute and atomic habit, as James Clear would call it, more seriously. It's the little things we do, the little things, that push-ups you try to avoid every morning, that words of affirmation you're supposed to give to your parents or to your siblings, that hand of assistance you're supposed to grant to that lady or that young man at work that perhaps is not very proficient at his job. That there are a lot of things we can do. They may seem little, but it tends to add up in the grand scheme of things and actually contribute to a meaningful life. Okay, so we should always work by design and not just by default. So it's a principle that all things are created twice, but not all first creations are conscious design. Not all first creations are conscious design. So if you do not take charge in designing your own life, you empower other things outside your circle of influence to design your life by default. Self-awareness, imagination, and conscience enable us to examine first creations and make it possible. So, I repeat, self-awareness, imagination, and conscience enable us to examine first creations and make it possible. It's wonderful when you actually understand the power of your imagination. You see, I was just trying to meditate this evening, and you cannot be like, nobody can arrest you for dreaming big. You can want to be the president of Nigeria, yes, you think it in your head, nobody will arrest you for it. Do you understand? You can want to be as rich as Elon Musk, you can want to impact thousands of lives all over the world, nobody is going to imprison you for that. Thought is free. I mean, you don't pay a monthly subscription to think. Okay, so think as much and as big as you can. There is nothing within the realm of possibility that is not attainable. So just think big, and as you continue to think big, program what you want to be at the end of your life. It's very possible that you might not even have clear steps or clear step-by-step process of how to reach there, but the most important thing is that you have a mental picture of exactly what you want in your life. So as you continue to walk towards your goal, as you continue to walk towards that dream, you now find out that